I want to talk about being in harmony with your truest nature. You know, sometimes when I do things that aren't in harmony with my deepest, truest nature, I know that I'm doing something wrong. And I think about the video I put up that I took down. Actually, I didn't really completely take it down. I put it on private, so it's not a publicly displayed video. But it was one where I was saying all kind of bad things about, you know, about Richard Dawkins and about the monarchy and all that stuff. And I get to thinking that, I realized I made that video like several years ago. And it's not in harmony with the way I'm thinking about things now. I still, disagree with Richard Dawkins. I still disagree with the idea of having the monarchy anywhere, whether it's in England, Spain, or wherever. Because I don't think these people, people get in power because they just happen to be born in a certain family. And it shouldn't be that way. But, that's a different story for a different day. The thing is, though, there's a way in which you can say things. As I've mentioned before, that the way in which a person gives a message is as important as the message. There are lots of times I've criticized religion. And if you go to my other channel, you'll see that I really am very critical of religion. But I'm not an atheist. I'm not an atheist. But the thing is, though, a lot of people, I think the fact that I never mentioned things, I'm not going to say never, but I think a lot of people signed up to my channel because they thought I was an atheist. They thought because of my heavy-duty criticism of religion that I was an atheist, and I'm not. To me, I'm a very religious person in a certain way, not in the regular church sense of it, because I just don't like that. I think that's kind of like mind control. I really think the churchy type stuff is just a kind of, it's really involving people's egos, and it more revolves around whoever the preacher or the pastor or the whatever, whoever the church leader is. It all revolves around an individual, a person. It's not really about teaching people to become better people. I think at the end of the day, religion does its best when it helps you to become a better person. If it's doing that, then it's doing what it's supposed to do. But when it gets away from that, then it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Then you have bad religion. I'm about doing things to help people to become better people. And I think you can do that in so many different ways, and it doesn't even require a lot of what people think of as being religious. I mean, sometimes it's hard to explain this, but, I think what we really want in life, all of us, we really want the same things. We want a world where we can be at peace. We can be friends with people. People can be friends with us. Where people respect each other. And people help each other. If they see you in need, they'll help you. And you do the best you can to try to make your world and your life better. Sometimes when I read Abraham Lincoln, for example, you read some of Lincoln's writings, there are people who say that Lincoln was an atheist. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But I kind of think Lincoln was a very religious person. And I don't think that even if those two things are true, they wouldn't be contradictions. I know that, some religious people are going to get upset about that, but that's okay. The point is that I think you can be, when I think about Lincoln, I think about somebody who's very religious in a sense, because I think that he had the religious spirit, so to speak. About trying to move forward, that we together work together, and we do things to move forward, to make progress, to improve ourselves, to become better at what, better at, in some ways, be more generous and more compassionate toward each other. A lot of his speeches spoke of that. And I think that that's what I think of as religion. It's not stuff about what's in the hymn book. It's not following some particular ritual. It's not, whether you eat a certain food on a certain day of the week or whatever, or whether you don't eat it all for several days in a row. Those things are not religion. And yet that's what people tend to focus on. They focus on those things. If you focus on those things and you don't really have that thing about let me improve myself and let me try to improve the world, if you don't have that kind of thing, then all that stuff is just empty. It's empty things. It becomes nothing more than superstitions, in a sense. That's all it becomes. It becomes meaningless. It has no value in it. And I think for a lot of people, they go to church and they listen to people talk. And it just becomes more related to politics and pumping up the ego of whoever's giving the sermon. I think that's what religion has become. And people follow things. They follow things mindlessly. The other day I'm walking down the street, somebody's handing me a pamphlet. Almost every day you find somebody's handing you something. And I just wonder, do people even think about what they're doing? Or do they just robotically do it? I used to be with a very political group when I was in high school. And they did the same thing. It's like people don't really even believe in this stuff. They just want to be a part of something. Something they think is important. They just have this vague notion that this is important. So we get involved in these activities without even understanding what it is or why or anything. I think you have to have a focus. And that focus is, how can we make things better? How can we improve our conditions? How can we improve our life? How can we make our community better? How can we make our world better? I think when you have that kind of thinking, that's religion to me. It may not be to other people, and some people may say, oh, that's not religion, it's not the proper use of the word. But to me, that's religion. That's religion. Doing everything you can to make the world a better place. Whether you are an atheist or a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian or Hindu or whatever, if your mind is on, how can I make things better? How can I improve myself? How can I improve the world around me? In that moment, you are religious. That's religion to me. Again, as I said before, I'm not arguing because this is not, other people may disagree and that's okay. But I don't think you can disagree with the idea of that what we really should do is try to work toward making things better. I don't think you can disagree with that. You may disagree with my use of the word religion, but, that's a story for another day. That's all I have to say.